So welcome to CountingWorks PRO, where we optimize every client touchpoint. My name is Lee Reams. I am the founder and CEO of CountingWorks and our sister company, TaxBuzz. And I wanted to be the first to welcome you to CountingWorks. Thank you for checking out our platform, our website. If you were referred or found us on Google, I think that is awesome. And the purpose of this video is really just to kind of define how we work, what our philosophies are, what makes us different, and then more importantly, how our team supports you from beginning to end on the onboarding side, how we get your website set up, how we get your platform set up and trained, and then more importantly, how we maintain that and improve upon our results over time. So I would have some of the onboard team here today. I wanted them to introduce themselves. We'll start with Rebecca. If you can kind of give some background, what your role here is and why you love marketing.
Hi guys, I'm Rebecca Barton. I am the Chief Visibility Officer here at CountingWorks PRO, which basically means if you need eyes on your website, I am your girl. SEO, content marketing, social media management, I've done all of that over the course of my career, and I love it. I'm a tech nerd at heart, and I really am passionate about this stuff. I love branding, brand identity, so I'm here to kind of help you with everything that you might need to get people's eyes on all of your content and your website.
No, my name is Patrick Mahoney. I'm the Director of Customer Success here at CountingWorks. And what that'll mean for you is we'll definitely meet, want to get to know your business. That's one of my things I love is learning about people, getting them comfortable and getting you set in on being successful with our product and showing you around and answering questions with you and your team. This is definitely something I've been doing for about 15 years, got a lot of experience on that. And a lot of the meetings will be with Rebecca and I too. So we look forward to meeting you.
Hi, my name is Abel Leon. I've been with CountingWorks for about 10 years now. So I'm the technical support manager. And so what that means is basically if you have any questions about technical aspects of your account, how certain things work, you need help with your email, any kind of technical issue you have with the technology, you can definitely reach out and I'll be happy to help and answer those questions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Liu, and I'm a marketing concierge here at CountingWorks PRO. I partner directly with our tax and accounting professionals to help bring their marketing goals to life. Anywhere from building a strong online presence to creating strategic content, marketing tactics on social media, blog posting with AI, or just making the most of any of our AI tools. Really think of me as your go-to guide for making your brand shine online and helping you achieve your goals to grow your business.
Well, awesome. Thank you, guys. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of what we do, what we concentrate in, what our beliefs are. And this is what we call the relationship layer. So what is it that helps you communicate to your client base? How do you attract new clients? How do you build a five-star relationship? How do you onboard them? How do you make it frictionless, make it easy? No one likes dealing with tax and accounting services. So nailing that relationship layer, I think is going to be more important than ever as we move into the AI and technology automation world, right? So in 2025, it's not just about having a website or even sending kind of mass emails, like the old way of doing things, old processes. Maybe you do have an email newsletter. You send one version to 1,500 clients and prospects. There's no real differentiation. You're not personalizing the messages. You're not personalizing kind of your thought leadership, what you're telling them. And with CountingWorks PRO, that's where we come in to really take that to another level. So your relationship layer, all the touch points that make your clients feel seen, valued, and loyal to you. So what's in it for you? Why should you care about the relationship layer? That's what we're all about here. That's what CountingWorks is all about. So the first one is you're going to save a ton of time. So whether you're using our AI automation tool, Max, you're using our onboarding automation tools. Perhaps once we roll out the ability to create binders and organize all your client uploads so you can easily import them into your tax software. Each one of these elements, whether it's writing an engagement letter, your proposal, obviously the time it takes to create content for your newsletters, those are all automated and personalized by the CountingWorks PRO platform. So what does that mean to you? Happier clients who stay longer and refer more. So it's all about what? Client retention. You want clients for life, right? No one likes a firm where you're churning through people. They're not referring others to you. And that's kind of the signs of an unhealthy practice, right? So CountingWorks Pro is going to optimize all of these digital touch points so you look like a superstar. So less busy work, more billable work. What I believe is happening, and you're seeing more and more money flood into the tax and accounting space with AI automation tools. So what are they saying? Well, you can create a tax plan now with Max for real. You can bring a couple of your clients' tax returns, upload them into Max, and with some of our playbooks, actually create a tax plan around that client scenario with AI in moments, right? You as a human can then update it and review it. But the reality is, if your old business was an hourly based, kind of philosophy, and now we're able to commoditize that role, where does the value come into? It's going to be the relationship you have with your clients, okay? It's the peace of mind that your clients have that by working with you, they trust that you are going to give them that human expertise that any AI tool they just can't replicate. So we like to say it's the idea that you want every client to feel like they're the only client. One of the biggest things we see in our reviews for pros kind of globally is anyone who gets a 1-star review, you know what it is? The word you see over and over again, they are not responsive. And with CountingWorks Pro, we help you do that at scale. And Rebecca, if you can kind of give some background and a little bit of insight of why that is so important to own that trust and that relationship layer as we go into the AI world.
Yeah, so there's a lot to this. And if you've ever listened to our podcast, Lee and I talk a lot about it on the podcast, but I'll just try to keep it short and sweet here. So basically, think of AI as your assistant. It's going to be your right-hand man, but it's not going to replace you. It's there to enhance the services you provide. So thanks to the time savings, the automation that you can get through the AI system, you are now free to truly build and nurture those client relationships. Over time, the relationship layer that we are very passionate about here leads to a lot of really great benefits for you. For one thing, you can start charging more money. You can build in these advisory types of services that allow you to charge more, that allow you to provide more valuable services for the clients you already have through upsell campaigns and things of that nature. Secondarily, it's going to allow you to focus on the value of the content you're putting out. So instead of just desperately putting out generic content, you're going to be able to hone in on a niche. You're going to be able to provide niche newsletters, niche social media posts, things that are going to really appeal to a specific demographic. As you build that expertise, not only is it going to be appealing to your existing client base who falls into that demographic, but it's going to help you establish yourself as an expert in whatever niche you choose. And those people who are in that field will start finding you online. They'll start rolling in. And all of this kind of starts with taking advantage of automation and freeing yourself up to provide those services.
Yeah, and what we're trying to do is, we don't want the service to feel like they're commodities, right? So how do you differentiate yourself? We're going to go through a few different kind of high-level discussions here today, but I'm going to start with kind of the killing the cookie cutter website. So the old days, and many of our competitors, they're still doing this because they haven't updated their platforms in years, 5 years, 10 years, and you just look at it and go, the world has moved on, guys. Let's start, personalizing things. Let's customize things. These are things that the cookie cutter websites cannot do. If you try to build an AI website like with Wix or one of their tools, it's very generic. It doesn't have the expertise. It doesn't speak in the language that you should be speaking in. It's not dealing with the life episodes and things, the life events that people go through that are signals, hey, you need to talk to me before you do anything. So a lot of these technology tools were built decades ago. If you go online and just, Google a bunch of accounting websites, it is absolutely insane what you see. Outdated tech, blogs that were written 6 years ago and stopped, right? What are those signals? What do you think those are saying to not only Google, but prospects or even people that were referred to you, okay? These cookie cutter sites also, it's like industry content. It's almost like they get the IRS bulletins and then they just kind of rewrite it, or maybe not even rewrite it. It's like everyone gets the same thing, right? So you have all these thousands of websites and accountants. They not only do they get the same content, a lot of times they have the same exact website design. There's no personality, there's no edge, there's nothing there to make you stand out. And then when you're on these old platforms, you're not adapting to technology changes. The browsers change. security rules change, mobile expectations, client expectations change, right? Those are big problems, and those are things that you can overcome with a partner like us. So there's no real automation or personalization. And now getting back beyond just the website, I'm talking about like the CRM side of things. How do we communicate with our client base? How do we segment our client base? How do we personalize those communications to make everyone feel, again, like they're the only client? So how are we different? We're personalized. We're not boilerplate. Our VIP clients. So I'm not going to get into today too much on our packages, but our Grow, Premier, Premier Plus, all of those programs include what I'm going to call custom blog content. So we take your memories, your preferences, and we are able. So let's say you're going for a locale. I always use Back Bay in Boston, and if you put that information into our platform when you start, anytime a new article is created, and this can be automated, so it literally just runs, but it will start incorporating keywords that matter, one, to communicate with your clients so they know, hey, this is a local firm, this is a local EA, a local CPA. But also it's a signal to not only the search engines, but also AI search, which is changing. So every blog, your newsletter, and your email is written in your voice. And explain, I know, Rebecca, you created some kind of cheat sheets on ways to create this, we call them memories, if you want to call it personalization, whatever you want to call it, but kind of explain, what's the best approach to get that so your content is really dialed in and why it's so important.
So the way I tell people to think about this when I'm talking to them is that you're basically creating a brain. You're basically making a brain that the system is going to look back to every time it's spinning an article. So we do have a cheat sheet. I've written out some basic prompts, like this is an X type of firm located in, the Back Bay, San Francisco, wherever you may be. We specialize in X, Y, and Z types of services. And you can then put in things like our target audience is, restaurant owners, or our target audience is millennial business owners who work in the content creation space, whatever you want to put, whoever you specialize in. Another thing that I have found can be very helpful is to actually tell the AI system as one of your memories to utilize high volume keywords that pertain to each article as it spins the content. Actually tell it that, because then it will research keywords as part of its process. And it will include things that people are searching for naturally and organically within each of these articles that it's spinning. So that's a tip that we've kind of recently found really, really works as we've been working with clients to get this up and running. So just think of these as its core memories. Who is your firm as a personality? And you're going to input all of that, and then it's going to take it and run with it.
So Rebecca, this sounds like we're doing agency-like service at this point.
It does, because we are.
That's unbelievable. And we're able to do this at a monthly subscription cost versus $30,000, $40,000 investment. And that's kind of the major breakthrough. And a little background here, the reason we're able to do all this is we were lucky enough or smart enough to realize that AI may actually start working. And we invested a ton of money and a ton of effort and a ton of human capital to build out and train Max, which is our AI engine. It's trained on real tax and accounting workflows, what an engagement letter looks like, what a questionnaire should look like. It's trained on the tax code. It's kind of like the Cliff Notes of the tax code. We do have an education division. We took all that knowledge, all those tax strategies, all those things that we do to educate our tax and accounting pros on an annual basis, and we trained our AI model on it. And what it did is it took and I had a bunch of articles that I got interviewed in the beginning of AI where, ChatGPT, for example, was like 50% accurate. And it was beautiful. It would write these eloquent responses to your tax research question. And we pinged it on, those kind of things that actually went through our forum, and just to see how it would do. It sounded good, but when we looked at it, it was like, oh, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. And what we've done is really improve the accuracy and the trust factor. So, I haven't done any benchmarks to competing technologies, but there's no question if I go to ChatGPT versus using Max, the quality and the accuracy is at a whole nother level. So what we've done now is take that as your base. And now how can we use that to power all of these digital touch points to make your life easier? How do we make it easier for you to do tax research? How do we make it easier for you to do a personalized proposal that then kicks off an engagement letter for a specific type of client. So meaning it's writing in their language. I'm working on wellness companies and I'm doing virtual CFO services. It's going to know and identify these are the common services that should be included in that performance. It can even recommend a price, or it can go off of your kind of pricing guide if you had loaded that into your memories. But what I'm getting at is you're getting real personalized one-to-one. So this is not template based. This is, we use the word personalized automations because I don't like using the word automation because it sounds too techy. We're 100% human in the loop. We're 100% personalizing, but we're enabled by technology and AI to read huge amounts of data and analyze them quickly and create a use case that works for you very quickly, right? So the other thing is we are an evolving platform. We're always updating. We're always listening to you. During tax season, I think we talked about this, maybe 80 different feature/tweaks, UX things that people had asked for. And if it feels like it's going to move the needle, we 100% do it. We are not a company that just sits there, privately equity owned, that just is milking the cash flow. We really care about your success. We are passionate about you being successful. We are your partners. We're not in this as hey, I'm a private equity guy and I've made this investment. We own this company. How much cash flow can we get out of this platform for how many years? And that's unfortunately what our competitors are doing. Patrick, I think you have a great experience when we get someone in from one of these cookie cutter, template-based systems and they come to CountingWorks. Like, what are some of the comments you hear? What's some of the feedback?
So yeah, it's super common to get people that come into our system and they expect they're going to get onboarded and we're going to do our thing and build the website. But when they see the different things that we're able to do now, especially with being able, hey, you want this custom blocker? I don't like the word custom, but like personalized is more of a more way to look at it, right? You want something similar to what you have, or we have all these other things we could do for the customer. They're not going to get, like you mentioned, a boilerplate or template. This is stuff that we've been working on and we want to make it personalized. Rebecca and I, on our onboarding calls, we really like to drive home that we need to tell your story. Like, we are all about customization here. We know that you're an accountant or you're a CPA or you're an EA, but what do you enjoy doing outside of that? Let's tell and connect with people. We've had customers tell us, hey, I'm a 5th degree black belt. I do all this stuff. And then they like the outdoors or things like that. And that does connect with people when they go to your website. That when I'm going and looking for any service, I want to connect with that brand. I don't just want to click and, oh, they're close to me, I'm going to go there. I want to read about who that person is, especially if I'm trusting them with their finances. So we bring that on. And a lot of the stuff that we've been hearing from people coming from competitors is that, hey, I didn't expect this. They don't do anything like that. No one has any sort of customization, anything. We have templated content and we're going to put your picture on the website, but that's not what we're about. We're definitely changing the way stories are being told for firms. And we definitely want to make you front and center of that.
Yeah. And let's get into, you mentioned the onboarding process. And so first of all, this is kind of the way we work. We are very educational. We try not to be overly salesy. We try to get people to kind of look at our packages and say, hey, pick. I think this is more of what I'm trying to do. But from that point on, once you are in our ecosystem, it depends on the package, but we have 4 packages. One is starter, which is kind of not DIY, but it's more just bare bones. I just want to get a site up professional. I want to have content. I'm not as concerned about growth, upselling, saving as much time, but I still have access to most of the tools. Most of our clients, quite honestly, go to our Premier level. So we have Grow Premier and Premier Plus. Most of our clients are signing up for Premier. And once they hear all these advantages and the way we do things, they really see the value. So the VIP clients come in and we schedule them with an onboard call that is approximately an hour long, and it's broken into a couple different areas. So the beginning is just kind of answering any questions that are open-ended that were not answered in the beginning of the sales process, so to speak. But then we get into your narrative and basically creating your story. There's a whole process, an interview that we go. The more prepared you are, the better. The more you share, even if you think there's nothing unique about you, you have no passion for this, 100% you do, and there's something we can tie in. And then that story is what's going to start resonating. So let's start with that, and then I'm going to walk through the whole process. We're going to talk narrative, how we deal with that first, Rebecca and Patrick, if you want, and then we'll get into the design. Once that design process is kind of formulated and how we do that, Then we're going to go into launching with Abel, and then kind of the long-term success with Alex on the concierge side. So let's start with how we create that narrative custom to you, personalized. I want to throw in something that many people don't realize. The number 3 visited page of our clients' websites is their bio. It's really important. And more important than that is the homepage speaking to your target audience, having images, having copy that resonates, colors, whatever, style of the site that resonates with your target audience. It's a game changer as far as getting that ROI on your investment. So Rebecca, Patrick, let's start with the beginning of the narrative storytelling in the onboarding sequence.
Yeah, so when you come to Patrick and I, you're going to sit down with us for about an hour. And like Patrick already mentioned, we are really focused on getting to know you. We have fun during these sessions. We always end up laughing with the clients. It's fun. We try to make it very light. So where we're going to start is kind of with me going through the SEO process. That's search everywhere optimization around here. So we're looking at social media, artificial intelligence, and traditional search engines like Google. So I'm going to tell you how we're going to help you kind of in 4 different areas on that front. And then I do a questionnaire with you. Really just a conversation where you get the chance to tell me your story. Why did you get into this? What do you enjoy about it? Who's your target market? We're going to talk a lot. I might prompt you with some other questions as we get talking, but it's really just a conversation to help us understand who you are as a tax and accounting professional, because we don't want you to look like everybody else. You're not like everybody else, and we don't want you to appear that way online. And then once I'm kind of through my portion, the narrative portion, we've gotten to know you, then Patrick's going to kind of take over and we're going to walk you through the selection process for your website. So I'll let Patrick kind of explain his part of onboarding.
Yeah, super straightforward when you get through this process. It's very easy. Like Rebecca said, we make it light. We actually really do want to get to know you and express that on the website. Like I've been saying, we've all been saying, it's very important to connect. But as you get through to the website selection, we get a starting point to give to our design team, and then Rebecca's team goes in and does custom content for you. That's why we ask so many personal questions, and that's why we want to get to know you. And then, Lee mentioned images and why they're important too. And it's like Rebecca and I drive home all the time on these calls. Like it's so important. You don't want a stock image of some guy or woman on there that's not you or doesn't reflect you on your bio page or any stocky images. Let's get some lifestyle photos. Let's show some personality in that page and be able to connect with people that are landing on your website. So we do encourage that, and we definitely can get that front and center on your website. But the process is super simple. About an hour to get through. We want to get to know you, have some laughs, and the site selection process. We go through that and then get you scheduled with your design team.
I've never heard that. Let's have some laughs. I love that. Yeah. So we try to make it fun, and we try to get your personality out. And what's great about this is that's usually our client's first aha moment with working with us. This is so different than what I've had in the past. And then more importantly, how quickly we can run through the custom narrative, get that approved into the website design, and then actually turn that site live. I mean, so just some recent clients, we had 2 days, 4 days, start to finish. Usually, I think if we're waiting around, it's because of the client coming back to us, right? So I think that's really important to understand. And then, so what are some of the clients that you just recently did? I think we did a brewery one. We had someone up in the Pacific Northwest, I think. Kind of what was your experience? And then how quickly did you get to know them that we could spin some really good content?
I think, Patrick, you want to go?
I was going to say, I was going to hop in and talk about Kyle. I think Kyle is like one of our favorites. He's gone recently up and running live, and he's definitely has a niche for breweries. And was it a matter of like 48 hours that ChatGPT was able to pull him up and talk about him in a heavily competitive market in Chicago? So,
and what he's talking about right now is AI search. So literally the website went live. We branded him around certain areas. We went into AI search and ChatGPT, asked for the best CPA that specializes in breweries, and Kyle came up that quickly. So that's the difference. That is how things have changed. So if you don't have a website and a web presence built for the modern world, you're not going to show. That's a game changer. Go ahead, Patrick. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Any insight on explaining that easier, right? I think it's important for people to understand. And I think people are I don't think I know it. People are using ChatGPT over Google when they search things. People are planning everything in their life using AI. So it's important to be visible. And it just goes to show you that the way we're pushing through custom content like this, it does matter. And no one else is doing this, especially not for how we're going about it, being able to keep the human in the loop like we like to talk about here, and ensure that this is not just an automated process with no one helping. Rebecca and I will get you through that. Yeah, the Kyle's the one of the big ones. We've also had a lot of success with another client of ours named Nadia. Thousands of people have been to her website in the last few months. She's taken advantage of one of our deep dives, which is one of the products that we have available that Alex can walk you through. I'm sure we'll talk about here in a bit, but those are just a lot of examples since we've started going through the narrative process.
Yeah, perfect. We're actually going to circle back to that in a little bit. So,
okay.
We got your site design, you've signed off. We can do it as quickly as you can, right? As quickly as you can give feedback. That is a difference. We know that our competitors often take 30, 60 days to get you through that cycle. That is our goal is not to be chasing each other, right? You don't want to be, hearing from us over and over again, and we don't want to be chasing you 20 times to get you to finish the site. So our goal is we front load the amount of effort we put into it. That's why you're seeing this team approach, and we're all in to get you set up successful while you're active, you're listening, you're fired up, and we want to keep that momentum rolling. So now the site goes live. How does that happen? You're not a tech expert. You might have an IT assist, but we actually make it super easy. So Abel, if you can kind of provide some insights on how you work with clients on the go live process, and then kind of the initial training of getting the platform up and running, at least certain features like social or getting the database loaded, things like that.
Yeah, Lee. So, I mean, I've never been one to brag, but we're really, really good at technology and deploying a lot of these different technologies. So we've made it really easy for for a person to take their website live. We get on a call with the person, and we can make all the updates for you, regardless of which domain registrar you're using, which provider you're using for your DNS. We make sure your email stays active. That's important. I've worked with companies in the past where, a lot of times emails would go down as soon as they made a switch or a change in their DNS. We don't have that problem here. We make sure everything that was active and deployed stays active and deployed. I can't remember the last time we've had any issues with that over my career here. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago, but it's been a while. So yeah, so we make that process really easy. I do recommend that, because we do give you the option of entering your own settings. A lot of times people have their own IT provider or service provider, and they want us to send the settings. That's fine, but I do definitely recommend getting on a call with us immediately after your site launches, just to make sure that a lot of the automated features are active as soon as possible. We would like to make sure your monthly newsletter is set up. If you don't know how to export your database, your client database from your tax software or from your email contact list, we'll help you do that and upload your email list just to make sure you can, start taking advantage of a lot of the automated features that we make available to you. We deploy if you're on one of our higher level subscriptions. We make sure your AI chatbot is deployed on your website and active, answering questions about your business for potential customers 24/7. So, like, let's say a lot of people work nights. If you're dealing with a person that has a trucking business, he drives overnight. He's sitting in his truck looking for someone to help him with his bookkeeping because he just started and he doesn't know what to do. You're available, your AI powered chatbot's available to greet him, answer questions, and provide you with his information the next day when you're available. So we do that. We make sure your social media is connected. We can do all of these things within one call. So it's very simple, quick, and easy to use.
So let's get into, all right, now the site's live. We do a bunch of things in the back end, especially if you're a VIP client. We're submitting you to directories. We're doing all of the SEO agency level things that you would want done behind the scenes. Don't stress about it. I don't want to get over technical on that. But then over time, your site will then start running, right? So your content starts posting. Some of the emails and automations start going. But you might have questions. I'm not sure how to set up the Stripe component, for example. So we use Stripe as our payment gateway if you're using our proposal or our invoice tool. So Patrick and or Abel, but Patrick usually circles around and is available for what I'm going to call a post-launch training session. We also have a full knowledge base. We have different levels of support as well. We have what we call tier 0, which is kind of our chatting, inbound chatting, and then we have phone calls, and then also everyone's calendar is available. So we are not set up, just so everyone understands, you don't just call in and get support calls. We do answer the 800 number, but you're going to start at a kind of a tier 0. They'll triage and answer maybe 80% of the questions, but it's impossible to properly give you like the tier 1 and tier 2 expertise like a Patrick or an Abel would do without scheduling an appointment. So definitely use their calendar when needed. We do this all day long. We have this process nailed down. But Patrick, explain kind of quickly, what is that training session all about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not scary at all. Our system is very easy to use. We train you. We can do one-on-one, do screen share. I walk you through any one of the products that you want me to teach you how to use and get set up, whether that's campaigns, hooking up your reviews, or if you want to use AI, and which we highly encourage you to do, right? Because we do customizations with AI now with blog posts and social media. So all of that stuff's important. I walk you through it. Super simple. Or I can walk you and your team through it. I've done many of those calls where people are in a huge boardroom and everyone gets to learn about the product all at once, get them all logged in. Super simple process, though, about 30, 45 minutes on that call. And again, it doesn't have to be the only call. We are here to help, like Lee mentioned. We have our booking link in our email signature. So absolutely schedule away when you need something.
So the way we work is at some point, let's say 60 days, 90 days, we feel that we have set you up, you're trained, you are, up and running, you're starting to be successful, but it doesn't end there. And we do have a specific marketing concierge process. This is where Alex comes in to do the post-launch check-ins. And they're really set up to kind of make sure you're using the tool to its fullest. Maybe there's things that you forgot during training you're just not utilizing yet. Or maybe there's things that Alex identifies as like, you know what? You're being successful here. Let's put some more time into this. So Alex, kind of explain your outreach, what your role is, your availability, and kind of how you help clients post this trade. I'm going to call it the time we launch to you and get rid of the official onboard team. What does the maintenance side look like?
Oh, completely. So at that 90-day window, you'll receive an email and or phone call from me, and then we'll schedule a 30-minute Google Meet where we really just kind of sit down. I always want to treat it as like a consultation meeting. It's very personable. I love to learn more about you as a person, like Rebecca and Patrick were talking on, your firm as well. And then I help formulate that to now understand, okay, what are the marketing tactics we can take to help this vehicle, your website, grow for you? Because your website essentially is like a car, but now with social media posting, online marketing with blogs, that can be gasoline, or like Lee said once, like an EV charging your car to go forward for you. So in that sense, I help you make anything from content calendar creation to understanding how to post carousels, niching down particularly as well. Rebecca and Patrick gave you that idea, but I can really help you take that to the next level. And then we can look at, well, what are the best platforms for me to grow on? Maybe I want to reach a certain demographic or target audience, particularly on LinkedIn or Facebook, or perhaps it's on YouTube and TikTok. And I can help you understand that because of course, with accounting, that's one hat. Marketing's probably not a hat you always want to wear. And that's where AI comes in to help. We don't want to think of it as a way to replace somebody. We think of our Max AI as a tool. We always say I'm almost like a second brain or a third arm to help alleviate that stress. You can really ask it any prompt in regards to something like, help me build out a 2-week Instagram publication plan and build out carousels with detailed information that's engaging. The end game for this would be to generate leads. And then we can just keep going there and there. I'm really here to help you make sure that you can see the target you're trying to hit online, because social media, online marketing, blog writing, it can kind of seem like a storm. We want to help you direct you through it and make sure it just makes sense and easy, because sometimes it can be overwhelming, but we're really here to help alleviate that stress and get you through it.
Yeah. And the other thing to think about too is we're also here, if you're an existing firm established, you have a database, you may not care as much about new leads and where your website ranks. You may care How do I upsell my current clients from tax prep to advisory services? How do I get my bookkeeping clients to virtual CFO? We are developing, we have campaigns, landing pages, white papers. We have playbooks that also automate that talk about the value of what an advisory service does for the client, right? So it talks to their pain points. It teaches them about better financial outcomes. And what we think is this is all about your storytelling and your brand narrative. So this whole front process, and now we go into maintenance, is to continue that story. In a tech-driven world, your story is your moat. Your reputation, your expertise, that is what's going to keep you ahead of everyone else. You're not going to be a commodity, right? So what we do here in that beginning process is we help bring your story to life. So your website, your emails, your reviews, your reminders, the way you onboard client, all it's doing, these digital touch points are reinforcing your unique value. People are going to, every time you send out an update or a new, right now with the House and the Trump negotiations, we have all kinds of things going on with new tax laws. There's going to be a lot of reasons for you to be communicating with your clients, and we're helped to do that. So we want you to lead with your story, not your list of services or your CPA, CRTP, et cetera, et cetera. That's how you win on trust, not just on price. We don't want you to be a commodity. I'm going to give Rebecca just a little time just to kind of add to that, and then we're going to pivot into with search, AI search, and expectations going forward.
Yeah, so like Lee was saying, we don't want you to be a commodity. We really believe that there is value in personalized marketing, and that's where our entire system is going, and that's what Alex is here to help you with. It's what I'm here to help you with from an SEO standpoint, from kind of more of a content strategy standpoint across the board. So we are here to ensure that you have all of the tools and components that you need to be successful and to build the firm that you've always wanted. I like to think of it as kind of, we're here to help you build your best firm yet. So we know that the world is changing. We know that can be scary, but we're here to show you that all of these new technologies can actually be used for your benefit, and they can be used to help you do things that maybe you never thought were possible because you couldn't hire 3 or 4 more staff members to help you. But now with AI, you have the ability to really, really focus on doing these things that you've always wanted to do, whether it's upselling people to virtual CFO or adding an entirely new suite of packages, or maybe trying subscription pricing for the first time. We can help you with all of this, and we're really here to kind of show you the ropes, guide you, and not only that, but teach you everything you need to know to make these kinds of decisions on your own using our system. We're here, like Lee said, we front load everything. We are here for you. We're here for you throughout. But part of our goal is to give you the things that you need to understand our system so that you can best utilize it on an everyday basis in your firm with your team.
Yeah, now I'm going to go into kind of what's changing in just the marketing side, the ability to stand out, how you're making first impressions, things like that. So the first one, we mentioned it a little bit, is AI searches here. Google is starting to experiment with it more and more. That's where you can see you're putting out a prompt or a question in Google, and they're answering with Gemini now, right? And then what you'll see in those results is little links to who the reference point was. And that then drives more traffic and even thought leadership. So that's kind of part of the algorithms, all these different algorithms, how they are ranking you. So if your site is even a year old at this point, you are 100% losing ground. If you are not telling a unique story about a particular type of client or niche or perhaps segment of clients, you're going to be losing out. If you're marketing to everybody, you're marketing to no one. So there's a lot of different ways you can utilize some different strategies to do this effectively, but that is number one issue that's changing. Number two is understanding what generational marketing is and understanding that what a Gen Z prospect is looking for. So someone who's making a huge amount of money in NIL right now, they need professional help. How do you reach them? How do you communicate to them? Versus perhaps how a boomer likes, they still love email newsletters. It is shocking how high the open rates are to boomers for our email newsletters versus like a Gen Z millennial style. So they might be more into social media, and this is really important. So Alex, I'm going to let you jump in here a little bit, talk about generational marketing. Rebecca, if you want to add anything once he's done, but kind of explain the differences and how this works from CountingWorks Pro side. You can't just have one funnel. You need to be where people are. And depending on who your prospect is, there's different demographics, and we have different strategies to reach them.
Absolutely. You nailed on the head. You said that if you aim for everybody, you're going to reach nobody. And that's really where the storytelling, niching down aspect comes from, where Rebecca and I can take that over and make sense of it. So say that you're trying to reach the demographic of 40 to 50-year-olds looking to file 1040s or 1099s. You're not going to try to market to people that are in their early 20s, early 30s. You're going to have a completely different mode of online marketing, particularly when it comes to visual media of certain demographics, age groups are going to be more interested in video content than written content that you'd find on something like LinkedIn. Anywhere from how long a video should be to how much information you give is also very important in generational marketing. There's a huge shift even between Generation X to millennials, from millennials to boomers. It depends really on where they're looking. And now we want you to be able to step into that arena or the arena, and then they can find you essentially. So if you're reaching out to boomers, they're going to be less likely to be found on something like TikTok versus Generation Z like myself, where we want videos that are very short, information based, but just enough information where we feel intrigued. That can seem like a lot, but again, we're here to help clarify any communication and any questions do you have about this? Because in the end, you more than are able to do this and excel when it comes to generational marketing.
More importantly, make it accurate, especially the Gen Z
Yes.
TikTok world. Oh my God, I can't believe how many times I see content on there that is just absolutely wrong, or they're just telling people and they're sharing it's going viral. Yeah, you can do this. And you're like, no, you can't. I think we hit that pretty well. So I want to go, the last one is how segmentation and personalization are, to me, game changers. And when you think about AI and automation, you don't think about segmentation and personalization, but the reality is it actually amplifies it. So AI tools and where we're going with ours is, if you turn on certain things, we're going to start scanning the database, scanning what's the conversations, even what the documents are, and be able to start saying, this is a high income couple. And here I actually have 30 of those. Maybe I should be creating content specifically to their issues that are completely different than what an Uber driver, cares about. And that is what we're talking about when it comes to segmentation and personalization. So my feeling are the old school tools, even like tools like HubSpot, that are, you hire a marketing person and they're giving you strategies and creating content, and you're creating an email blast. I always love that. I need to send an email blast. Well, stop thinking email blast. Start thinking one-to-one emails. Think of personalization, but at scale, no more generic, personalized, again, automated and at scale. That's where CountingWorks Pro is going. And those are some of the things that we're working on today. I'm going to now go back and we're going to talk about some of our success stories and clients that have seen a huge, the needle has moved dramatically. And I'll let whoever wants to jump in here. I think we should talk a little bit about the audio deep dive that we did. I just looked, there's thousands of people that have listened to it. And what we did is we basically took the bio and the information that we have for this particular client. We threw it into our tech stack. We use a couple different, I'm going to call it text to audio tools. You can set it up where it actually clones your voice if you wanted to. Or what we did in this instance is we made a kind of like a two-way conversation podcast about this particular brand. It is absolutely brilliant. And if you want to hear it, you reach out to us after you watch this, we'll definitely share it with you. But it tells the story. It puts the client in, it really speaks to them, their pain points. What are the benefits? And it differentiates this firm like never seen before. But let's talk a little bit about how well she's done, how that's affected her practice and growth.
Yeah, so this particular client has seen exponential growth. She actually came to us during COVID, and her firm was struggling even before COVID, and her business more than doubled thanks to using CountingWorks Pro and all of the tools that we have available. So it's a huge success story, but she's not the only client who has seen results like that. I want to say that this is not a one-off situation. Like, what we do works, and we are definitely here to help you, to guide you. But I think Nadia is a really, really great example. And the deep dive you mentioned, Lee, is super cool, particularly that one. But I'll let Alex kind of jump in if he wants to and talk a little bit more about deep dives and maybe the creation process there, just a little bit to kind of wind things up.
Yeah, deep dives are actually truly revolutionary. So essentially what's happening is that we prompt AI to create a two-way podcast with a very like human-like voices. As Lee mentioned, you can also clone your voice. It's so lifelike that there's inflections, there's pauses. You can hear them actually breathing in air. There's naturalistic ums and fillers, where it's one of the most innovative ways to spread information. It's a new format of communicating what you'd like to have your clients understand. So instead of filming a podcast like we do weekly, which takes hours to prep, film, and then post-production, you give a prompt to AI, and then in about 10 to 15 minutes, you can have anywhere from a 15-minute conversation to 30 minutes. It's truly amazing. And then you can go back and refine it and make sure that it's fine-tuned to your liking. But again, this is going to be a great way for you to spread information to people that want to read an article, don't have enough time. They can pop on this deep dive when they're going to work in their car or going on a run in the morning. It's truly amazing and just a forward way of being able to grow online in this new AI age.
Yeah, more importantly, the cost of producing something like this. First of all, I don't think it's in any budget of any of our clients, not even close. And how polished it is. And then more important, how accurate it is. You got to remember, Max is powering this. So we know the tax code. It's not some AI tool that goes rogue and hallucinates. It's actually knows what it's talking about. And it makes a big difference because it speaks in the language that makes sense. It's not like an AI language. So really important. I think that goes back to kind of this agency-like services that we're not selling ourselves as an agency, but we're getting pretty close. And it's definitely something I think that is a huge differentiator for our clients that invest their time into this. So I'm going to go now into security, trust, and compliance. And I know there was a podcast recently, or actually it was one of the big influencers that said CPAs, accountants could care less about security. And sometimes when you listen to our clients, you're like, they really can't. And it's like, oh my God, I don't believe that is true, first of all. But clients need to trust you when they work with you. You need SSL on your websites, right? You need encryption. You need secure portals. You're not emailing financial documents. Phishing emails, attacks are more common than ever. And more importantly, the IRS now is mandating you need two-factor authentication. So Abel, explain a little bit about some of the security things that we do, from texting to using Google Authenticator, kind of the idea of, security is a big deal here. Compliance, ADA compliance on your website. SSL certs, you need those if you have a form on your site. I cannot tell you how many competitors, either charge more to get SSL, they don't have ADA on it, and it's like, whoa, that's setting yourself up for lawsuits. We include that for every single client. But explain a little bit about the security side.
Yeah, sure, Lee. So I'm glad you mentioned forms. I've noticed a lot of people that we've onboarded, they were using third-party forms on their websites, and they were doing things like collecting social security numbers with those third-party forms. Big security risk. You don't know who those people, where those apps are located, where people created, or those forms were created with. It could be, a nefarious app. It's like a Trojan horse type of situation where somebody created a form for you. You thought it was a great tool, put it on your website, but you don't know where the data is going. You're collecting people's social security numbers. So that's, with our system, we have really great innovative intake forms. You can set up automations with them. You can collect the data with them, and it's going into a secure place. We've been partnering with CPAs and EAs in this industry for decades. So it's a really, if you're wanting to use custom forms, our system's a really good place to utilize that. Another place where security is crucial is two-factor authentication. It's not it's now a requirement. The IRS started requiring two-factor authentication for both your team and your clients. You need to have that available for them. So that's something that we feature with our secure portal. And then just in general, we host our platform on Amazon Web Servers. I think last time I checked, it said they had armed guards, guarding the servers. So interesting to know. But so just know that when you use our system, there is a lot of protection there, and it's available to you.
Yes, that is great. And I'm going to pivot a little bit about Max, and that's our AI tool. And it's just not some generic bot, okay? It's trained for your workflows, your deadlines, your world. It flags opportunities. That's a new tool we have coming out called Client Insights. I'm going to tease a little bit. It might be, if you're listening to at some point, this might already be available. But insights are where our AI is going to proactively find opportunities in your client database and actually give you the analysis, what the plan would be with all the background, and a button that says send a proposal with a suggested price. That is like real upsell ROI, right? But that's much more than just the ideas of sending birthday announcements and reminding you about deadlines. We're trying to find ways to help you upsell to your existing client base and more importantly, make them more financially successful, right? All this without lifting a finger. Our goal is not to overcomplicate things. We're not trying to add layers of marketing teams and SEO people. If you have them, great, we'll work with them. That's wonderful. They'll actually, be able to focus on things that move the needle more. But the reality is, once you get this automation and things turned on, it really kind of runs itself. So what was Max used for in the last tax season? We successfully answered hundreds and hundreds of thousands of queries from clients. We had clients who, would be, I would call boomer age, older, nearer retirement. They were our heaviest users. Once they figured out how to write a prompt and actually how to use it. So they're using it for everything from writing responses to client emails or chats. We had a client said, hey, I have 1,200 clients. If I put a chat feature up in my portal, am I going to be overwhelmed with stuff? And I'm like, well, first of all, it's probably easier to send an email to you, which is not secure. And they're asking you, financial questions via email, which is a big red flag. They do have to log in, but the reality is with the tools and Max is built into the chat, it literally can analyze that question, even give you your response for you in moments. It makes you more responsive than ever. I think that is a big deal. So what does kind of Max do ROI wise? It saves you hours per month. It depends on how much you're using. It could be significant. It can, we like to say it 2x's you at least, but I think it can 10x you. And think of AI as labor, not necessarily just like this tool. It's not necessarily perhaps replacing labor. It's making the labor you have now more efficient than it ever was. Okay. So you're going to have higher retention rates. You're going to be more responsive. You're going to be able to do much more for your clients than you could before, right? Which gives you kind of this work-life balance that I know is cliche but it really is important. Tax accountants work really hard. We don't want to grind you, with 12, 14-hour days. And Max and AI tools 100% can help you out. You're the human in the loop. They're here to help you. They're your assistant, not to replace you. It's really important. I know there's still lots of accountants that are like, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. And over time, hopefully we'll win you over and you'll start realizing, wow. So Abel, I want you to talk about a couple examples of doing a tax plan or reviewing a tax return, like some use cases that you can use with Max that would be really difficult to do. And then Rebecca, perhaps talk about how you could write a prompt for some more marketing or client communication stuff.
Yes. So just to touch on the security with our AI just a little bit. So our system is closed. We tell it what it can be trained on or what it can train on. We don't train our AI on your client data, your client documents. Very important when using AI. You want to make sure your client information remains confidential. So once you delete a document from our system, it's gone. It's not there anymore. But with that being said, some of the places where we've seen our pros use AI are to do things like comparisons. When you're comparing prior year data to current year data, when you're comparing the data to the overall industry, you can do comparisons. You can upload a financial statement, and you can ask it to perform different analyses, like different ratios, and give you different data to share with your client. That's important. We're using it so you can upload a tax return to the system. You can have AI scan it and just pull the information loaded into a chat directly from our chat messaging center. And so, those are just some of the ways that we're using AI. I mean, there's just quite a few different places we're using AI in our platform, and it's really saving our pros a lot of time.
Rebecca, let's talk about the marketing side. Just real quick. We don't want to go too much detail.
Yeah. We'll be quick. But from a marketing standpoint, the system can do just about anything you would ever want it to do. We have helped clients build out, a month of social media posts for particular platforms, 6 months of social media posts for particular platforms. It's really there to get to know you. And the more you use it for marketing in particular, the better the voice is going to get. So the more you train it, the more you utilize it, you're going to start getting responses and content that really fits your brand voice. And I think that's extremely important. And that's one of the things that I do a lot in my AI trainings is really teach people how to prompt so that you are going to get those outputs that you want from a marketing standpoint. Great at responding to client emails as well. If you have things that you just don't know how to respond to or that are going to take you a really long time to reply to, it can whip out a response extremely quickly. Social media posts, blog posts, long form content, really anything you want to do. Kind of your imagination is the only limit when it comes to using Max for marketing.
Yeah, and I think it's been a great tool. The feedback's been awesome. And I wonder how we match up. We haven't probably tooted our horn or bragged, as Abel said, about how powerful Max is and how much work it actually has done. It's got to be one of the leading tools from the last tax season for sure. So some of the things, differentiation-wise, I'm going to get into the roadmap here. First of all, we are doing custom homepage copy. We are doing your story, agency-like. We're adding service pages, your bios, your about us, custom to you. That is not cookie cutter. That is not happening at other places. We're doing that already. AI has enabled us to do that, but then we took it a step further. We started the AI authored content in your voice, custom to you. So the entire site basically is custom to you. That's a huge deal when it comes to ranking, personalization, getting picked up by the AI tools, things like that. So where are we going? We started rolling out our playbooks. And at one point we called them AI agents. That was a little confusing. So now we're doing playbooks. And think of playbooks. We have them in 3 categories. One is workflow. That's like your day-to-day stuff. Hey, send this tax return to my client to review. If they say yes, it's good to go. Scrape the data from that, create an 8879, send the e-sign automatically, and just do that process. That is a playbook, right? Another playbook then could be in the retention side. So that is, here are my 1040 clients, or here are my business clients, or here are I want to upgrade or upsell to this segment of clients, my tax prep to advisory. And in these playbooks, it might be a series of blog posts that are automatically written in your voice. Again, personalized to you, but speaking to SEO, speaking to the client. Maybe there's some thought leadership in between. There's some call to action. So like intent emails to get people to take action. We just recently upgraded our calendar in two-way sync with Google and Outlook. And the new calendar tool is really, really nice. But these are all built into these playbooks. So at some point, you're able to do personalized automation at scale. No other CRMs are doing this with the knowledge of the tax and accounting industry. So this is game changing for you. These are things that we're going to see rolling out more and more. We're going to build out this suite of playbooks, I guess, in the next few months. So we're really excited to see how that works. In addition, we have these predictive workflows, right? So these are the client insights. This is the areas where we're now able to scan all your data, organize that data, and make it so you can proactively recommend things that you may not have noticed, or it's more like real time. So that is a really, really cool tool. And then our goal before tax season is to have our binder organization where our AI will automatically read and organize your client documents. We're talking about integrating with some other software products to help that even be better. But we'll use advanced reasoning to apply your firm's unique, mission and your voice to tax strategies and have it proactively create these so you can review them, edit them, and then make it into a consultation, for example. So I think there's a lot of ways that we're really running with this relationship layer, your client touch points, and making them better than ever. I think this is great. So, I go back to a close of kind of what we've been talking about today. Why settle for cookie cutter? Why settle for a template? Why settle for ordinary? Okay. The firms that are getting ahead are no longer using these old platforms, these dated platforms. They're the ones using tools like CountingWorks PRO to build their relationships. They stand out in search and grow with less effort. And once these things run and start running in the background, you're just servicing the clients. You're doing what you want to do. Okay. I feel, and I did an audit of our competitors recently just to see what they were doing. And I was absolutely in shock of the poor quality of the products that they were putting out there. And I don't know if certain accounts are so busy that they don't think they have time, but I believe you do deserve to be that 5-star practice. You deserve higher rates. You deserve better clients. You deserve to have an unfair advantage, and people that are working with us have that. So I hope this presentation has been a really good overview of who we are, how we do things, how you get the team approach, and more importantly, how we personalize everything to your firm. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out. Go to our CountingWorksPro.com website. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. You can send emails at help@CountingWorksPro.com. You can schedule a one-on-one consultation. But we're really excited for you to become a partner of ours, to get in our system and to grow with us. So we look forward to hearing from you, hopefully soon. And again, everyone here appreciates all the business. We think the future is bright for the tax and accounting space. So we're here to support it and help you guys grow. So again, thank you very much.